in Grand Prix Washington, D.C. with Reanimator, I would mulligan very, very aggressively. Like this. This is this is a turn 1 Entomb. I have a feeling I know what we're going to go see him put in his graveyard. And this is all you have to do to win. Now, it's not that also works.
Iona's not bad.
That was fine.
Not bad.
I prefer the check mark of Elishnorn. Now, it could be in his hand, but Iona is also perfectly acceptable.
It is really hard for the Elves deck to win when it can no longer cast spells. Elishnorn and Iona both accomplished this.
Correct. Now, is there a card like Karakas in Bledsoe's list? Now, it's not very popular because they are normally green-black.
There is no copy of Karakas. He has also no way to kill it, it appears. So, Hayden's got 1 turn, assuming that Thomas is capable of reanimating this Iona.
There are a lot of people on Twitter who would like to see a cartwheel. That's not good for me. Wow, there's no... Ugh. Ugh. I don't love that hand.
Well, he's on 6, it looks like.
Yeah, sure. There's a Massacre. We can bring that up on the screen for you guys at home so you can take a look at that unique Wrath effect.
Was very good against Rebels back in the day in Type 2. Now used for combo decks to sweep up decks like Death and Taxes.
Yeah, got to catch a Death and Taxes player with that at Washington, D.C. Played on one of my sideboard in the recommendation of Drew Levin, Legacy Expert.
It's quite good.
You see Echoing Truth, Entomb, and Gristlebrand in the hand. So if you're Thomas, you need to really get going here. And this is kind of the reason I like searching for Elishnorn instead, because Iona's not going to come into play in time at this point, it seems like.
Right.
And Elishnorn can actually just kill everything when it comes into play, which is much more important.
Yeah, if you could reanimate right away, I could see saying, Iona's a much faster clock. I don't know if my opponent can break out of this thing, so I want to end the game pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But since it's likely that Hayden's going to get a couple turns uncontested now, then I agree with you that I would have rather had Elishnorn.
Now, it's pretty simple. If Hake just draws a copy of Reanimate, the game is over. And we'll see what he does draw. Couldn't quite make it out. He just has to pass turn back, so nothing irrelevant. This Bedsole, excuse me, is going to draw a card.
Bedsole.
Bedsole, thank you.
I thought I always assumed it was Bledsoe.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
it's very super common. There's a Elvish Visionary, so we're going to start getting the elves online.
Pardon me for that mistake.
I'm sure this isn't the first time.
Probably
for
not.
him. Yeah.
So, for those of you also unfamiliar with elves, the elves deck can go off as early as next turn from this base. It doesn't require much more.
Yeah, it's not impossible, and especially if a Cradle's involved. You have a Heritage Druid, another elf, and then a Cradle. He can absolutely go bonkers. There's an island. That's a good draw.
Did he pick up Exhume in the previous turn?
That's the question. His reanimation spells in his deck, he has 4 copies of Reanimate, 2 Animate Deads, 2 Exhumes. And he's got Show and Tells. Now here is a Thoughtseize. Does he want to cast an Echoing Truth in response? The answer is no. 2 Massacres in hand.
Massacre is, I suppose, hard castable. There's also 1 copy of Savannah in Hayden's list that facilitates a Gaddock Teague on the sideboard.
I don't think he's searching for that.
No, probably not anymore.
Let's see what we have here. This is a Green Sun Zenith.
And you can see that there's Glimpse in Hayden's hand. So he's probably just setting up shop this turn and looking to go off next turn. Has to avoid 1 big draw from Thomas, something to reanimate that Iona.
Yep. So Zenith is going to get shuffled back in. Arbor's going to come into play. Hayden hasn't played a land yet, so he's going to play a Cradle. That's going to tap for 2. That's going to let him play a Visionary.
Yeah, and Hayden's all set up for next turn now.
Next turn he gets to go absolutely bonkers, assuming there is a next turn. It's time to fade a reanimation spell, dodging 8 outs. Don't forget about that, a point for 1.
And the cantrips could potentially be backdoor draws as well.
Yes. Take a draw. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
How good was it? Threw it right on the ground. Thoughtseize. That's actually pretty good, I think. Ooh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
take
it's
natural
not bad
order
here. Although, you know, just drawing, if Hayden draws a creature next turn, he might be actually just to be able to go off.
If he draws a creature, Hake is probably dead.
it does not require much of a base for elves to be able to go off with this much mana and 2 copies of Glimpse.
Yeah. Let's see what it is. I think that was a creature. I think it was a Quirion Ranger. Not positive, but I think it was.
So that Cradle right now generates 3 mana. The Dryad Arbors are...
Start by attacking, so guess not. Oh, it's a Cabal Therapy. Okay. Got a lot of discard. Probably gonna massacre with this. Get the 2 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crystal Brand's all that's left over. Time to try to dodge again.
Uh-oh. Into the graveyard.
Black card. That is a...
It's another discard spell?
I think, I imagine it has to be.
I mean, certainly if it's a reanimation spell, even if it's reanimate, it's fine to reanimate here. You can bide all the time in the world once Hayden can't cast any spells.
Thoughtseize. Take a glimpse. Goes down to 12. So now if he draws a creature, it's not game over like it would have been probably before. So pass the turn back. Bedsole's going to draw a card. Wooded Foothills, miss. Wow. These last 2 matches that we have watched have been ridiculous.
Yeah. Although now I believe Reanimate may be cut off as an out because...
It's starting to be cut off. Actually, it just would be cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now this is what you were talking about Elish Norn versus getting a copy of Iona. The game went on for a long time because of the structure of Thomas's hand.
Yeah, if he were to draw Reanimate this turn, Iona cost 8. Even if it costs 7, I'm pretty sure it costs 8.
It just loses to the 1/1s.
Yeah. And now he's going to go search out a Dryad Arbor, so he gets to attack for 4.
So Thomas is likely just to lose to this sea of idiots.
Yeah, well, sometimes Elves just wins this way.
Yeah. You can have the beat down in quotes draw backed up by some discard.
That's exactly what he's got. Here's probably just another elf, right? Yeah.
All right.
There's a Deathrite Shaman. That's lethal. Draw. That's a Brainstorm, maybe? It's a Careful Study. It's going to have to be perfect. I don't even know if Perfect Careful Study does it now.
It had to be a Mana Source, and Exhume, and Elish Norn all involved here.
Yeah, and that's going to do it. So Hayden Bedsole is going to win this match over Thomas Hake, giving Hake his first loss. Elves is going to move on to 5-0 in what is a very, very poor matchup for the Elves deck. But Bedsole was able to dodge some timely discard, and he moves on with a smile on his face to 5-0.